everyone, this is Cherriey with CherrieyChatters, and I guess I'm doing sort of vlog. This is coming around mainly because there is something that's coming up that's a tradition for me, and it's going to be quite obvious on any future games that I play with a webcam. So I wanted to talk about it and at least explain a little bit of what's going on and why it's going to be this way. So basically I'm going to be getting a haircut, and this is something that I do once every 2 to 3 years, and mainly it's because I just can't handle it. My hair's thick, and that's how long it takes for me to be done with it. So it's going to be very short, like short. So, but you know, this is something that I've done many times before, because like I said, it's once every 2 to 3 years. It started in college. And if you're wondering, yes, I am donating it, but only now. I think I haven't donated it many of the times that I've done it before, because quite frankly it never occurred to me that anyone would want hair that I was throwing away, because I didn't want it, so I just tossed it. But somebody made me feel kind of guilty that I hadn't been donating it, so now I do, or at least I try to. So part of this video is also going to be talking a little bit about donation, and that it can be a good thing, I guess. Personally, I have difficulty coming to terms with the fact of people's attachment to their hair and how it makes them feel about themselves. I'm not in a place where I completely understand it. I'd be okay bald or with really long hair. It doesn't really matter to me. But since I live in a really, really warm place, I don't want long hair. I think this is about as long as I can handle it. And it's at this point I'm like, you know what? Nope, I'm done. I'm done. Summer's coming. Don't want it. Don't want it anymore. So today is the day that I get rid of it. So for those of you who are interested, I'm going to kind of like tell you the little saga story, because, you know, invariably people are like, how did you start doing it? So I just tell them. But if you don't want to, there's going to be a skipping link, so you can just skip straight ahead to, like, I don't know, whatever this video is going to end on, probably with me coming back with a haircut, let's be real. So basically, when I was in college, I had moved from a very temperate climate up in the mountains down south to a place that was very warm. And even though I had visited when it was warm, visiting it is not quite the same as living within it. And I have thick hair, so it was like so oppressive, and it was like the wet hair like clinging to the back of your neck. I mean, yes, ponytails, but I mean, you don't always want to put your hair in a ponytail. Golly Ned. So I'm like, one of my friends had a haircut where like a lower layer of her hair had been like cut off or shaved off or something, so that it wasn't like constantly touching her neck. And one day I thought, you know what, I should probably do that. Now keep in mind, I also dislike sitting still in hair salons, not because I'm hyper, but because I just think of all the other things that I could be doing, like playing games or reading or anything else, but you're just like trapped under a little tent and you can't move your arms or do anything, so it's basically like you're just sitting there wasting your time. I don't really like it. Did I mention that? I don't like it. So I try to limit it as much as possible. And in that particular instance, I said, you know what? I don't care what my hair looks like. I'll do it myself. So I got my kitchen scissors, or my craft scissors. They could serve both purposes, quite frankly, so I wasn't sure what I was using for them in that instance. But I got them. I went into the bathroom, and I started like snipping underneath. And then I looked in the mirror, I'm like, you can't tell that anything's been done. That might not actually do anything for me. So I went back in. Snipped again, and I went and looked, I'm like, oh, too far. And so at that point I'm like, you know what, I'm just gonna take it all off. So I hacked it all off of my head. There might have been bald spots, it didn't really matter. It was gone, and that was the important thing. Now, my father had told me that if you take and completely shave your head, the hair will grow back in more bushy. And considering the fact that I was cutting it because it was so thick, I didn't really feel that I needed to expound upon that problem. That's probably an incorrect term, and I will regret that later, but that's what I'm going with for now, because I can't think of anything better. So, it was gone, and it worked out really well. It was lovely. I I was so much faster when I cleaned up in the morning or the evening, depending on when I was cleaning up, and it dried so much quicker, and I felt so much lighter and cooler, and it was lovely. But like I said, I didn't really want to keep up a short haircut because I really just like sitting in salons. So I just let it go, and I let it go, and I let it go, and finally it got to the point where I couldn't take it anymore, and that was about 2 to 3 years. I can't remember the exact time. Maybe 2. Maybe I've let it go 3. As many as 3? I don't know. I think it's been 3. Has it been 4? I hope not. I really hope it's not been 4. But anyways, so I did it again after that period of time where I just couldn't handle it anymore, just before summer. Snip, 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 snip. All gone. And then I moved away eventually, and I got a job with a place that cared about my appearance. And I realized that I could no longer do that and have a job. So then I decided, okay, fine, I will sit in the salon chair, but only that once. So I got it done. Now, the first time I got this done at the salon, I had to argue with them. They didn't really understand what I wanted, and I was kind of confused at how to tell them that, because I basically just told them, well, I whacked it all off with the scissors, and it was like about this big, and so they sort of worked with it. They're like, I don't know if you realize how short that is. I'm like, I did just do it to myself, so I'm pretty sure I know how short it is. So we worked it out, and we figured out that it was something about razor 6 all over my head. That's about what we said. Okay, and they said, next time you come in, just tell them razor 6 all over your head. I'm like, okay, perfect. I have my cure-all. I can do this. Done. So, 2 to 3 years later, when it was time for my next haircut, I went in and said, okay, well, it wasn't the same place because I'd moved by then. I pop around and move a lot, but it's in the same general vicinity, but whatever. Anyways, different place. And they said, oh no, sweetheart, you don't understand how short that is. No, you don't want it that short. I'm like, I just told you I've had this done before. I know how short it is. It's fine. Keep going. I'm like, no. You know what? And once they realized they couldn't talk me down, they're like, how about we just take it down to like your shoulders, and then you can see if you want to go further. I'm like, okay. I mean, I guess you can. I got to the point where I'm like, I'm tired of arguing with you. Do what you want, and then I'll tell you to keep going. So they brought it down to my shoulders, which, you know, they did it carefully, so it took a good, 10 to 15 minutes. I'm like, oh, we could have easily just, like, snipped and been done with this. This is wasting my time. I had to spend more time in the hair salon. I know I'm ranting, but that's kind of where the story goes. So they got it down to his shoulders. I'm like, nope, keep going. So at that point, they had no choice. And I think they cut off, like, the first little bit, and they looked at me like I was going to freak out on them. I'm like, keep going, you're fine. And then, like, okay, I've got the razor. Once we do this, there's no going back. I'm like, it's fine. I've had the haircut before. I'm fine with it. Hair grows back anyways, and even if it doesn't, it's just hair. And so they did the haircut. And I don't know what they expected of me at the end of it, like I would freak out on them or something and say, what have you done to my hair? Exactly what they asked me to. I asked them to, so it was like no big thing. So that was a process, and it took way longer than it needed to, and I was kind of irritated with it. So 2 to 3 years later, when I had moved yet again somehow, it was a new salon. Or was it the same salon? I know at one point I went to the same place, but it was a different person. I ran into the same problem. So this time, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to forestall this argument. I'm going to cut it myself. So, was it? Oh my gosh, there's been so many times. I think this one time, I decided, okay, now I want to donate it. And I went in and I said, okay, can we do the Locks for Love donation? And they're like, oh, we don't do that here. I'm like, oh. Okay, well, I'm here in this chair anyways. I don't really want to have to come out to a salon again later, so just do it anyways, and we'll throw it away. I didn't really care. I'm like, let's do it. I don't want to have to come back. So they did it, and it got thrown away. The next time, however, because I had to argue with them that time too, I said, you know what? We're not going to argue anymore. So I went ahead, and I had heard some interesting things, so I decided instead to give my next donation to Wigs for Kids. And both of the links and so on for these donation charity places are going to be put in the description below. So also, I will also link an article that compares the two, just if you want to like a quick compare contrast, you don't have to search around their website. It's a really good one to look through. I looked through it myself while I was preparing for this video. Let's face it, I didn't do much preparation. I'm horrible. Anyways, carrying on. This next time, it had told me that it's preferable to have it in smaller sections. So I had it in like 6 different little ponytails throughout my head, and which made sense to me because if you do one ponytail, it's like layered, and if you do multiples, it's like the same length because it's like sections all over your head. I'm like, perfect. They'll get more out of my hair that way. Like, I don't know. Okay, they need it. So I went ahead and took my rubber bands and like did it really tight all around my head. 6 of them. I made little video clips of that just to be funny. I don't know what happened to them. I think I might have deleted them. Anyways, that's neither here nor there. So, once I had made all these ponytails, I cut them off my head with the kitchen scissors. It was definitely kitchen scissors this time because I had kitchen and craft scissors separated at that point in my life. So, I had them all, put them in a Ziploc baggie, and I sent them off eventually. But the whole point of that was that if I butchered my hair, they would be forced to do it and they would not argue. So, I went in to the salon and I said, "Hi, razor sticks all over my head." And they said, "Oh, sweetie, did you do that to yourself? I'm so sorry. We'll fix that for you." I'm like, okay, razor sticks all over my head. And they did. And that was the quickest I was ever in a salon. It was great. So, that was last time. This time, I've been debating. I think I'll go in there with my rubber bands and ask them to do the ponytail thing. And if they don't do the ponytail thing, I'll say, okay, listen, I'm just going to go out, and then when I come back in, I will have my ponytails on, and then you can like snip them. And if they refuse to do it, or like they start arguing about it, I will have scissors in my bag, and I will do it myself, and then they can darn razor sticks all over my head, because how hard is this? Come on, people. So that's where we are right now. I have washed my hair in preparation for the donation stuff because that's what you're supposed to do. So I'm going to wait for it to dry, and then I'm going to head on over with my rubber bands and scissors hidden away in my bag, and then once it's all done, I will come back and give you an update, and then you can see the finished product. Okay? That sounds great. See ya! And here I am, razor sticks all over it up. And I'm so happy. So happy. Now the cycle begins anew. And in 2 to 3 years more time, I'll do it again. So, yeah. You'll see my hair gradually get longer over the progression of other videos. Oh yes. Here it is. In the bag. So, yep, I'll send that off eventually. This time it's going to be wigs for kids. Woo! But yeah, again, all that stuff is going to be in the description. Well, you know, the sites, and you can peruse and what have you, and stuff and things. This time, I said to the lady, after I had to wait because she was in the middle of talking to somebody else, and I wrote notes on writing, and it wasn't a wasted time. So after all that, I told her what I wanted her to do, and she just looks at me and she's like, "You surprised me." I don't know what she was expecting, I'd say, honestly, but, you know, it took a really long time for my hair to dry. I watched like 2 episodes on Hulu, and then I ate a grilled cheese and chicken sandwich, and then a bottle of popcorn. Actually, a whole bag of microwave popcorn, let's face it. All at the same time. Not like this, all at the same time, but like I ate one and then I ate the other. I love popcorn a lot. Anyways, that's besides the point. After I'd done all that, I felt that it was dry enough, and then I went. So, yep, that's how I went. So I hope I've given you something to think about. This is my tradition. I feel like it can be a useful one, especially now that I'm actually donating my resource of hair. I don't know. I mean, it's nice that something useful could come out of my tradition because it was just going to get thrown away anyways, so that's handy. So go ahead and leave a comment and the comment section down below. Tell me a little bit about your tradition. What's some of your traditions? And do you also donate to name your organization? So thank you so much for watching. Go ahead and leave a thumbs up if you liked it, and so on, and so have you. You know the drill. I will see you in the next video, or, you know, whatever.